We are all interconnected. Without knowing, we are empowering others.
Trusting your instinct and dreaming big.
That was powerful. That was absolutely breathtakingly powerful. How the system could be better.
Stay faster and stay forward.
I wanted to do something.
Fragility of our mental health. Our mind is the battle.
Be your own creator.
I wanted way more for myself.
Creating a future of success and possibilities.
What I focused on is on opportunities.
Diversity and inclusion are fundamental reasons that our cities and communities are such vibrant places to live, especially in Toronto, St. Paul's. A commitment to diversity and inclusion has to be one of the pillars of our social contract.
It is important that we choose to make certain decisions. COVID-19, Black Lives Matter, systemic discrimination have all created this reflective time to examine the gaps, to make changes to our systems, to recognize that diversity and inclusion must be the way forward. And if this is the way forward, then the theme, choose to challenge. What are we choosing to challenge? Let's choose to work towards gender parity, towards a diverse and inclusive society, and recognize that we all, each and every one of us, has a part to play.
I cannot stress enough how important it is for us to have leaders reflective of our community. If COVID has shown us nothing else, it is that Black, Indigenous, racialized women have been leading our way. Women have stepped up. When women step up and lead, people listen.
Almost 500,000 Canadian women lost their jobs during the pandemic, and they hadn't returned to work as of January 2021. And that's really challenging because 200,000 Canadian women have slipped into long-term unemployment, which is 3 times as much for 2020.
I talked about the first time I had to explain to my daughter that being Black can lead to prejudice. She was 6 years old. We were out browsing at a kiosk in a mall when we were angrily yelled at not to touch merchandise or leave because our type of people never bought and we always stole. Fast forward to a few years later, I had to take care of the husband of this same woman that looked down on me and my daughter a few years ago and chased me from her store. Being graceful and keeping my composure before someone that treated my daughter and I like garbage was possibly one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. I urge you to choose faith over fear with me going forward. Stand up and speak up for what you believe and for what is right. Share your ideas and you will be surprised by how many people are ready and willing to support and stand with and by you. Let me remind you that being a woman in itself is a superpower. Sharing your story is sharing your power.
menstrual inequality refers to a situation where you don't have access to menstrual supplies when you need them, either due to a lack of availability or a lack of affordability. Menstrual inequity is not an independent inaccessibility problem. I think that this is a symptom of the systemic inequality in general.
Coming here anyway and thinking I was ready. And I was so wrong. When I reached here, the stark reality hit me that you are Black. It's something that we never consider in Caribbean islands, and a lot of you all from the Caribbean could relate to that. We're from a predominantly Black country. For the first time in my life, I am of a minority population.
The challenges I first personally faced as a mature immigrant student in these institutions is what motivated me to create this platform and community for myself and other fellow immigrant students. Long story short, my husband and I decided to immigrate to Canada after we brushed shoulders with death during the war on Gaza. At the time, I really thought that all my struggles and challenges are behind and that we can start a life full of opportunities here in Canada. At the other side of that spectrum, there are challenges such as experiences with sexism, racism, discrimination, xenophobia, and Islamophobia. I was shocked at the time to be experiencing microaggression and racism in a country that prides itself of its diversity and multiculturalism. I moved from being a newcomer who knew nothing about Canada and knew no one, to being named one of Canada's top 25 Canadian immigrants and women of influence, founded a national organization and mobilized and supported and mentored over 200 women over the years. If I did it, then you can do it too.
The systems create lots of barrier for the women not to achieve the equality in the society. We are the women who are in Canada are working hard to bring the bread and butter in the house, and also we are the women in Canadian society right now, bring the love for everyone. All the caregiving services is provided by the women. Dear sister, all of these racialized immigrant women need your support. So we need a hand-holding process, so supporting each other to move forward.
My country is under a dictatorial regime. Therefore, there is no freedom of speech and much less freedom of thought. So being a journalist and political activist against the dictatorship is very dangerous. We had to make the tough decision to leave Venezuela and start a new life here in Toronto. It wasn't easy to leave everything behind. Life gave us a much bigger challenge. One day, my friend and I were walking home from work. And when we were about to cross the street at a crosswalk that is practically in front of my building, a car hit us and threw us about 20 meters and changed our life forever. In my case, the major injuries were from the waist down. It has been a very tough journey, physically and mentally, but surprisingly, I've been very positive during my recovery.
The system is corrupt in such a way that you need to know someone at the management level of the admission department. So after graduating, getting the job was hard. We decided to move to Toronto. Afterwards, I went for an accounts and finance bridging program at Skills for Change. During the program, I volunteered at Volunteer Toronto, and I also volunteered at Skills for Change as part of the bridging program. Before we moved to our apartment, we were in the shelter for 1 year because getting an apartment was really, really expensive in Toronto. I would like to use this opportunity to thank the government of Canada, the government of Ontario, and the city of Toronto for their support during this hard times.
My father raised us all in very racist England, London. He raised us to believe that we were actually, he called it the original peoples. Right? So I grew up with my dad telling me all the time that I am the daughter of Eve, right? That it was out of Africa, that everybody came from Africa, and therefore everybody came from a woman, and therefore everybody came from a Black woman. And so that I had to be proud of the skin that I'm in. My dad will say to me, have you finished crying? And I'd say yes. And he said, then do something about it. I chose to focus on how the system could be better.
Over the centuries, we have shown that we are resilient as women. However, that sometimes comes at a cost, our health. Our mental health and wellness is key to the foundation of our overall health. The same way that we consciously take care of our physical health, we need to do the same with our mental health. We need to be mentally fit so we can thrive to live the victorious life we all seek to live. Many of us are expected to be the superwoman, the Wonder Woman, all the time. Can I tell you, unrealistic?
I'm the brand founder of the Arashar Cup, and I'm also the managing director of Mavical, construction raw materials and that I sell in Latin America. I was born in Colombia. I was working with this group of people and it was amazing. I mean, I was teaching them English, teaching them how to cut their hair to save money, right? Like if we teach skills, they will actually be able to survive or to save money. While I was doing that, I was very successful. I was talking to the mayors, I was talking to bigger like community leaders. So I became kind of famous in the region. And for that reason, I learned that I was going to be kidnapped. So that changed completely my life. So I had to actually step away from that job and apply, like I actually apply as a skilled immigrant to Canada. Opportunities will come. You just believe and the universe will bring them to you. I'm a total believer of that.
The first time I actually became a candidate was in 2007 for a provincial campaign. And that night when I came home, the first thing my mom said to me was, "Great, who's going to marry you now?" And it's true. We think of women in leadership as bossy and aggressive and threatening. I'm asking you today to take up space, and especially take up space in places where you think you are not wanted or even actively excluded from. Because when you do this, you are making space for the women who come after you. We are all both participants and agents in change.
The effects of racism and anti-Blackness are inundated and far-reaching within our societies. I know you've probably been on social media and you'd see people saying, non-Black people are saying, "Oh my God, racism is so exhausting." And you're like, imagine how we feel because we experience it every single day. Through my work, I'm able to call attention to the areas where we are oppressed and disenfranchised. I'm also able to shed necessary light on the injustices that affect Black people globally today. The most poignant part of that period for me was the city sending out an email verbally declaring that yes, Black lives do matter. Seeing a crowd of over 3,000 people come out to support during a pandemic was inspiring, to say the least.
If you didn't know, I am a woman of color. My snowy white skin was splattered with dirt. The sun loved me too much that it gave me a hug. I took so many chocolate it reflects on my skin. I am the pancake that was left on too long, but I am the gingerbread cookie that came out just right, golden brown. I am the color of beginning of earth. Before humans stepped foot on the ground, I was the ground. I am the color of ash wood that you cut down to make books. I am the color of roots beneath a blooming rose. I have no place in the sky with the primary colors. But down here, while I'm alive, I am the color of the darkest night, where dreams visit me before the dawn of light. I am the golden speck in the eye of every brown girl who never thought they were special until the sun hit them just right. I am the color of hot cocoa after a hard days of work, making friends with sweet marshmallows and the occasional ribs donut. I am the color of an eagle's feather, an owl's freshly shaved wood. My color is the scent of musky masculinity, of a story or myth that has not yet crossed your years but lives inside your heart. Just like how my ancestors fell in love with the sun and painted their skin with natural pigments of Mother Earth, just like the tree gives ways to the leaves, never forgetting the kindness of the air, yet wallowing in its glory, so will I. I am not part of the colors of the rainbow, but gosh darn it, both ends of the rainbow will always touch me. I am the color of light, soul, particles soon forgotten, stories, cultures. I was kissed by the sun before I was born and will return to earth to blend with nature. My body will help begin a new cycle. My color will always continue to be seen. So before you ask me where I'm from, ask me where I haven't been. What other color will correspond with every shade, only to be forgotten and mistreated, only going harder, only making love with the sky and the cloud over the horizon? I like to think that my skin was sculpted from rocks, a word I never thought to associate myself with, but thank God I realized that Earth was not born in 2 days. So my skin will always be outdoing itself. Now you know, I am a woman of color. That does not mean I am perfect, but I am part of a rainbow.
Am I proud or am I sad? Am I sad that I am isolated and I'm the only person that people, I'm unrecognizable, I don't seem to fit in? Or am I proud to be a representation of an unrepresented group? I need to be happy that I am here, that I am represented and I am showing a face.
Do you know how to eat an elephant? Most of you know the answer, one bite at a time. I learned an important lesson throughout the journey of my life in Canada. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. We as women have a big advantage, that of being a multitasker. I was studying for my exams while I was taking care of my family, cooking and playing with my daughter. We have to adjust ourselves, our schedule to meet our goals. We have to have a balance in our lives, and as women, we know it naturally.
I learned that you can be disagree with your tradition. Even I'm Muslim. I learned that you can be angry, sad, happy, stressed, scared, lost, and you can express your emotion. Even you never saw the woman of your family express them. My girls came back to school and she said, I don't like my hair. Why I don't have straight hair? So I have to deal with the mental of my kids and my mental as well. I had to do something. I had to find a solution. So I start to look, and I found beautiful dolls for beautiful black dolls to represent every kids in our world. I experienced racism so much time against my person and my religion, but every time I expressed my emotion. And in every bad situation, I get more and more confidence.
There's a lot of cultural stigma around mental health, especially in the Chinese culture. And I'll speak just to my culture. I've come up with 5 tips for finding and using your voice. The first one is look for what interests you in the world. We're so trained as women to be, have our boundaries be our family, have our boundaries be just our family, our friends, and not looking any further. Keep having conversations with people who are different than you, people whom you may not interact with on a daily basis. Step number 2 is take a small action every day. Take that first small step because you don't know where that first small step is going to lead you. And, it can be a challenge, but go for it. The next step when you do that is to expect the road to be bumpy and to plan for it. The fourth one is find like-minded women who are interested in what you're doing and hang out with them regularly. And the last one is find a trusted advisor who is committed to your personal goals and will support you in your growth and development.
The arts has shaped my life in many different ways. It has allowed me to be very independent. It has allowed me to really just have a focused mindset. Dance has brought discipline, major discipline. Be your own creator. I created my business, Ocean Dance Studios, last year, March, during the pandemic, when the pandemic actually hit. And what got me was, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to be in this pandemic and I'm not dancing. People are not going to create it for you. Sometimes you're not going to find it out there waiting for you. So you have to create your own and make it come true and make it possible.
I'm the owner and founder of Shivani's Kitchen. If you are wondering what Shivani's Kitchen is, it is actually a production plant where we make ready-to-use sauces and authentic Indian spice blends, and then we supply them to Sobeys in Atlantic Canada. In my first cooking class, I had only 2 people. And then the second, no one showed up. There were many cooking classes, no one showed up. I did not give up. I kept on trying. I have been running this business for 6 years. I have been taking risks. I have persevered, stayed in my business. I kept trying to improve. I have been bold.
What I focus on is on opportunities. My mindset is to take something, transmute it, and go to the next level. And what I look forward to is moving forward. It's very easy to fall back on the idea that I've succeeded, because when people who don't know me will say, well, now you're kind of arrived. But I'm still struggling. I'm still a Black woman in tech, in Canada, in a world where it's mostly men and mostly white men. What we need to understand is that as an immigrant, you're getting a new opportunity in Canada. We have to start and fully take up that opportunity, really use all the advantages. I want us to be allowed to fail. and be okay with it. You know, we have to do the work, yes, but it's heartbreaking when we aren't given the chances everyone else has. A lot of us have spoken about the kids. A lot of them, you know, a lot of us are women and a lot of us are moms. You know, let's set up our next generation for that success.
My journey into leadership started years before I realized what the word leadership meant. Then one day at a girlfriend's house, while we're having a conversation, she started talking about life after school and how she's thinking of getting employment at the seniors' home, helping seniors. And that sparked something in me. I began to realize how integrating into the Canadian system had made us all to think less of what we are capable of doing. My friend was an internationally trained lawyer who equally came to Dalhousie University for a master's degree. And hearing her speak of picking up a low job position triggered something in me. I instantly told her, no, that's not the job for you. I started creating a future of success and possibilities in her mind, telling her how much of a potential she's got and how Canada is waiting for her to thrive by using her skills in helping other people. That particular conversation changed everything for me and made me to start dreaming again. To end my story of resilience, I would like to encourage somebody out there. I would like you to be comfortable being uncomfortable. If you particularly want to make an impact and make significant sustainable growth, I need you to assume the position of a leader, even when there is no example for you. I need you to create that table you want to see. Take that leadership seat and steer the wheel. You'll be surprised at those who would like to share that new table with you. I encourage everyone out here to never stop dreaming, because you know what? Your dreams are valid. Never let anyone tell you your dreams are not valid. I'm creating a table now that is new, that I've never seen anyone before me do. And I'll be glad to pull every other woman with me to join me on this journey. Let's make history together.